because I have a lot of coaches who are listening. Could you give me an idea of how this could work if you're mainly selling your coaching services? Could there be a done for you proportion to it? How could you come up with a creative pricing model?
So it would really depend on the services the coaches are offering. So most coaches, especially business coaches, are helping them with different aspects of their business. So that's why a monthly amount, perhaps it's paid at the beginning of every month, what I could call a retainer. Mm-hmm. Perhaps that is a really good method. Now, the reason that people are afraid to do that is because they feel as though they might get taken advantage of. They're still thinking in hours.
Right.
And they're thinking, they're thinking, well, what if my client calls me like 3 times a day and it's kind of driving me crazy and all this stuff, and I'm not really being compensated for that because I have this flat rate monthly fee. So that goes back to boundaries and setting expectations. So I believe that when we're talking about finding your ideal client, that's backwards, because you need to find an ideal buyer and help them be ready to buy so that you can then help them become an ideal client. That does not happen by accident. And it happens when you set and manage those expectations at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Once they become a client and you draw those boundaries and you help them understand what's included and what is not included. And then if they need extra help, then you have the ability to go back to them and say, well, you'll recall that our setup is that this includes 2 meetings a month and emails. If you would like to add some meetings or calls, I have this piece that you can add on to it, and this is what it would cost. Again, structural, not personal. Mm-hmm. And it makes it so much easier to go back to your client and say, I'm happy to help you, and here's what it will cost to add on this piece. Mm-hmm. And whether or not your client is going to say yes depends on if they can afford it and if they value it, and if you've shown them every step of the way the kind of value that you bring. Mm. So going back to what you said a few minutes ago about there is no cookie cutter solution, that is true of everything in your business, and most importantly, pricing. Mm. There is no cookie cutter answer, and you need to figure out what works in your business with the population that you want to work with. And right now, you may not have a population of ideal clients. You may feel as though you have to take everyone who comes to you in order to generate enough revenue. And that is a trap. It's a really unfortunate trap and a very common one. So if you will take a step back and really go out and find your ideal buyer, you have to define who that is and then go find them. And I give some strategies in the book. Once you do that, then you will notice a night and day difference, because then you're working with people that you're excited to work with. You get great results. They're willing to put in the work, and you're not just taking anyone who comes to you. Mm. And it makes that whole pricing conversation kind of a non-issue because everyone understands the value.